The UMFA has dispatched a paratrooper squad to help protect the rear lines in this Triten Trench campaign as things have gone south for the North, and helping them out is a strike squad to give them the badly needed firepower that they're going to need on the field, as the Pakistani Republic has sent in their best of the best. They sent in a sniper cadre and a fire support cadre to secure the artifact and hopefully prepare it for the highest bidder. In this Triten Trench campaign, it is about seizing a tract of land that is mostly useless. However, it is suspected that a satellite fell in the area that was capable of momentarily shutting down the gate network. And as a latecomer to this engagement, our branch of the UMFA has found themselves outmanned and in the rear lines, as the northern forces have found themselves playing second fiddle to southern aggression round after round after round. And in the wee night hours, the ESE has found their opportunity, sending in the Spec Ops ahead of the rest of the main force in order to help throw their gambit in with the forces that they think are going to win, and, as previously mentioned, likely pay themselves a dividend for that expensive piece of hardware. In setup, he deploys everything that he can, while I, on the other hand, reserve the Spec Ops units and infiltrate them using dusk and cover and the stealth systems on them to get right down his throat, and the first turn being just outside of his detection range, and already putting the game into play with a hard press on the southern end of the field, so that he now is already facing a Schwerpunkt maneuver against what is one Grizzly and a couple other slightly heavier gears. With stealth and dusk in play, this is already turning really nasty for the North. As the ESE has moved themselves forward, the sniper cadres are in position, and in a blink of an eye, they are opening up fire, and there's nothing he can do about it. Having seized the initiative with the first roll, they immediately start laying in shots out of the dark into the targets that don't even have a chance to reaction fire before they are completely down. And in the first shot, right out the gate, the sniper levels his gun and takes out the Grizzly, catching him not only flat-footed, but also with the visor open, crew exposed, killing the poor guy before he knew there was somebody out there. And in response, the cadre leader manages to pop the bazooka out and takes out the heavy tiger, taking out one of the nicer bits of heavy gear that the Northerns were able to field. Shots continue to ring down along the southern edge of the board as the chameleons open up on it, and other gears in the area starts laying into the Jaguar on the western south end of the board, giving it light and target designating it for the fire support cadre that is just sitting out there champing at the bit, waiting for some firing coordinates. Now this is ugly. This is really, really ugly. He can't even see the units that are shooting at him right at the moment, and they're dropping like flies. He has no targets to respond to, and his units are dying left and right. It is pandemonium. He is burning command points, trying to keep his units alive, but it is so far all for naught, as everyone is managing to die in the opening shots. He responds by activating his paratrooper cadre and starts sealing up the units on the northern end of the board, trying to move them up just a little bit closer so that they aren't going to necessarily get the run-of-the-mill as the sniper cadre begins choosing the pace at which they engage them. If he can get closer, then I'm going to have to directly respond to them. Jaguar moves on the southern end of the board, hops over the little barricade, chucks a grenade into the woods blindly, and manages to do no damage. Not even distributes a stun token, as the sniper cadre leader and the sniper himself decides to give absolutely zero concern to it. Can't be said for the chameleon behind the building. I happen to not see one of his gears, in a twist of irony. I literally did not see him, and he pulls around and manages to deck the gear. It had no cover, so the stealth didn't operate, and he was just caught worse for it. We're just down one gear. I didn't really sweat it. We have a lot of command points to burn for everyone else. Jaguar on the southern end of the board begins to stop sweating bullets for just a minute, only to be zeroed in on by a spitting cobra, raining in the heavy rocket pack and absolutely immolating the guy, causing something close to 60 or 70 damage, not counting the box of light that he already got from the previous hits, leaving the entire southern end of the board desolate of northern opposition. This leaves two of the Spitting Cobras, again, just kind of twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the targeting data and trying to fire faster than the others, but unfortunately they're left with no target. So the Black Mamba of their combat group leader begins moving forward. Hopefully he can find something else. Hunter on the middle building takes it on the chin as a Tiger from downtown manages to land a shot on him, taking him with the MRP and putting him out of misery. It's not for naught, though, as he pops out, the Chameleon in the middle of the road manages to see him, pops a shot at him, puts him into light damage, and in return, he starts getting peppered at by almost the rest of the gear squads for the north, giving him into critical damage and giving the Chameleon something to think about in the long run. This opening shot has been devastating. We moved forward under darkness, popped our shots off, and completely devastated the northern gears, leaving them almost clueless as to what was going on down there on the southern end of the board, and leaving the northern gears in a complete panic as they're bracing for cover against the onslaught that they cannot see. You know what today's gear is? It's a biggie. Oh, and if you get a chance, check out Civilian Gamer's YouTube page. This is where the campaign is actually being hosted at. And I've name dropped him before, but I can't give him enough props. I love his Batreps, and I love his reviews. In fact, you want to see a tutorial on how the game is played? He's got one. No, it's not something you find in a bar, but it's not the bars I go to anyway. It's a grizzly. Let's talk tactical. The stealth system is a fantastic piece of equipment that allows you to swap your current concealment rating for the concealment rating of the stealth system. Stealth 5 requires a detect rating of 6 or greater to see it naturally, and since his units only have a 2 or 3 value, it means that he needs to make an opposed EW roll just to see them. And in this case, he needs an 8+ to do it. He didn't upgrade any of the EW systems on his gears, and it makes it impossible for him to see it at range. Thus, in order to make an active lock, he has to get within the size rating of the unit in inches. Fecal matter has impacted against the sonic oscillation device, as it appears the Northerners are reconsidering their situation. They are trying to grasp with a problem that they have not been afflicted with before, and they are reconsidering their strategy. South wins the initiative again, presses it, and continues moving their units forward, trying to take on the few paratroopers that have moved into the buildings along the center of the board, trying to threaten the Chameleon that is now holding on for his dear life, as he in turn keeps the center road pinned down. If he goes down, there's nothing left to keep the northern gears from being able to move downtown and try to take on the support gears on the eastern side of the board. And they should want to. That is their goal. It's one of their victory point conditions. The South, on the other hand, takes advantage of the bereft nature of their opposition on the southern end of the board, recons the hut that they're supposed to on the left side of the board, and begins moving forward. They have already reconned most of the paratrooper gears, and they begin taking shots at everyone that they can, putting down one of the paratroopers that managed to move around the corner, and we go ahead and burn a couple command points just to put him down quickly before he takes on any kind of trouble along the center end, buying the Chameleon just a little bit more time. UMFA paratroopers begin moving forward, again getting antsy, takes his light bazooka and tries to take on the Chameleon hiding behind the building. They begin trading shots with each other, trying to keep each other down. He manages to take the bazooka out, levels it, pops it off, and manages to miss, buying the Chameleon just a little bit more time. Again, he's just trying to hold his own. So long as he's there, the UMFA have to try to assault the position from one side to the other, while the sniper cadre on the southern end is able to hold the left side of the flank. The one Chameleon in the middle of the town is able to hold the center. And as he does so, he begins looking forward, starts forward observing the mess out of the gears that are clutching between the buildings on the northern end of the map, and starts raining hell from the fire support teams out in the woods that finally have enough targets to actually saturate with and start just going for full spread, blasting everything they can, taking down one of the Tigers in the fusillade, damaging several of the other gears in the nearby area, and potentially causing quite a bit of problems for the South in terms of victory points. We're hitting people that we haven't even seen yet. Kodiak begins pushing south, clearing the brush and trying to get a shot off against the Green Mamba, which is the ESE commander that managed to make a break through the open, trying to get to the building in front of him and try to help his comrades up there. And instead of finding him, he actually doesn't have line of sight against him. He tries to make a sensors check to try to find the sniper sitting out there in the woods, because the sniper goes ahead and takes a shot at him, and he figures with the firing mod that he might be able to see him, but no, his sensors come up dead. He does not see him. Federation commander hops the building, climbing up on top of it, and decides to start taking a look downrange to see what he can see and hopefully try to find his way into some better targets. And he ends up getting a whole mouthful of reaction fire from the units that can see him, which is mostly just the Black Mamba out in the distance. The shot misses, he turns around, takes another shot back at him, and the Black Mamba manages to take a box for it. As much as can be said about the Republican sniper cadre getting up close and personal in these wee dusk hours, it's the fire support cadre that has been making a mess of the game, raining the heavy rocket packs from on far, and just making a choice work of whatever we could forward observe. At this point, everything dies. If it gets forward observed, it dies. And we run out of forward observed tokens that we could actually throw out there, because there's usually only 2 targets, and we're killing 2 a turn, leaving that poor third Cobra with nothing to do other than to twiddle his thumbs and knit. Federation continues to push what initiative that they can. They are running out of options. They get in close as the paratroopers start clearing building to building, trying to get closer to the sniper cadre and put as much pressure on the chameleon in the center building as they can. Sniper cadre moves forward, trying to take defilated positions and push back the paratroopers. Grizzly moves out into the open. We burn a command point, putting a guided mortar on it because he got target designated before, putting just 1 box of damage on him. 1 more box of damage, making him heavily damaged, and it causes him just barely enough to miss his MRP attack. He unloads everything that he can into the chameleon and to the Green Mamba hiding behind the building, but because of that 1 critical hit chance, it allows the chameleon to live. Just that 1 little box of damage causes the chameleon to live. The Green Mamba dances around it. He gives absolutely 0 cares about this. And in return, we open up with the Spitting Cobras. Just as soon as we get the opportunity, we start lighting them up. Snake Eye Mamba takes his shot against the commander of the UMFA forces, misses ingloriously, losing a victory point for the ESE, or at least they're not going to get the victory point this turn. We need to assassinate that guy, and he dances around the shot for 1 turn. He, however, turns around, lights up the Black Mamba in the field, catching him flat-footed and killing him outright, leaving the fire support group without their leader. Justice is swift, however, as we activate the fire support cadre and just lay into that devilish Grizzly, returning in kind 7-fold the amount of damage that he was distributing, and completely immolates him in the field. We actually had to dispatch 2 Grizzlies against that one. A rare feat. However, there's another Cobra. We open him up against the army commander. He manages to live through that bombardment as well, leaving him alive for another turn. However, we take a look at the situation and we realize where it's gone. And Defler goes ahead and calls it. It was inevitable. We still had nearly our entire force, and he had a bunch of crippled, damaged gears, some of them without any kind of ammo left, and he burned nearly all his command points. It was inevitable where the game was going, leaving the game a win for the Southern Republic. And that's been an Ouchies Batrep, and thanks for watching. This is one of those instances where I had my list and strategy set out well before in advance, before I even showed up to the game. And it almost completely was because of my games in New Jersey. There was a couple instances where I saw where the Snake Eye just couldn't be shot at, and I decided to leverage that, infiltrate them, and you can make a strong case, win the game in deployment, just so long as I didn't do anything really dumb like charge out of cover. You better bet I'm going to do it again, but you'd also be pretty reasonable to expect more weasels, bobcats, and upgraded EW skills in general, because this kind of cheese will not go uncontested.
On the upshot, we might not actually get our recon objective because we accidentally killed everyone.
Tony, that's way worse than the high-fiving. Do you want me to punch him? You can
I've never had the instance where we accidentally oopsed our way. It's like,
do you want me to punch him?
Were we supposed to kill that guy? I don't know. He's just this red smear all over the street.
There's a puddle. There's a.
Does he have a dog tag? It was incinerated in the rocket bombardment.
Pull his teeth.